9th of September. It's the day after the Queen of Great Britain has passed away. So yeah, it's a bit of a shitty day in general for the country. But either way, I don't want to talk about enough other people doing that today. Today I will be talking UFC, which, because it's in America, will still go ahead. If this was UFC London, chances are it would not be going ahead. But this one is in America, so we will get a fight card. And this is UFC, what is it, 279? I believe so. It doesn't really feel like a pay-per-view event though, with the lineup. Let's have a little gander at the lineup. Wait there. UFC events. Sorry, I normally have this all ready and waiting. Yeah, so I mean, the main 3 events, 2 of them are pretty decent. One of them I like. There's one other fight I like, and then there's just lots of stuff with stuff I'm not interested in, unfortunately. Last weekend we had Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa travel to enemy territory in France to take on Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane unfortunately put Tai away. It was one big step too far for Tai Tuivasa, who last time out defeated Derek Lewis. He'd been on a good little run, Tuivasa had, but this one was just one step too far. And Cyril Gane looked bloody good, and to get back up after being rocked by Bam Bam was quite impressive. There wasn't really anything else on that card that I really got into. There was one other fight, wasn't there? Let me have a quick look at what the co-main was. Whittaker Vittori, really good performance by Whittaker for 3 rounds. And that was pretty much it really. Nathaniel Wood, who is a English fighter, defeating Charles Jourdain, and that was all I was really enjoyed on that event. Let me grab my coffee, guys. I hope you're all good anyway. Obviously yesterday was really not a good day for our country. With the Queen passing away fairly suddenly, but I mean, the lady was 96, so I mean, she can't go on forever just because we're all used to being the head of our country. Anyway, let's get on with UFC 279. So this event will be headlined by Khamzat Chimaev and Nathaniel Diaz, as he likes to be called at times. Well, not Nathaniel, sorry, Nathan Diaz. He did go by Nate Diaz for a long time. People still call him that, but for a while he said, I want to be called Nathan Diaz, so okay. But it's Chimaev against Diaz. We all know, well, you should know by now, if you know about UFC, that basically Diaz is being fed to Chimaev here. It's pretty rough on the outside to see. So Diaz had his last fight with Leon, and he was getting bossed in that fight. Diaz was, until the last minute when he rocked Leon Edwards. Edwards went on to win, rightfully so. Diaz hasn't had a fight since. He won on with Dustin Poirier. Dana wouldn't sanction it unless Diaz signed a new deal. Nathan Diaz had one fight left on his contract. He has been called out countless times by Jake Paul, the YouTube boxer. If Diaz leaves the UFC after this fight tomorrow night, or early hours of Sunday morning here in the UK, he could potentially sign up for a huge amount of money to take on Jake Paul, providing Anderson Silva doesn't beat Jake Paul boxing match soon. If Paul comes through that one undefeated, then I think we'll see Nathan Diaz against Jake Paul in the not too distant future. Unfortunately, I think Jake Paul wins in an MMA fight. Clearly not. Wins just a straight up boxing match when he's up against Nathan Diaz, who has, apologies, Nathan Diaz might have experience training as a boxer, but as far as I'm aware, he's never had a boxing match. I could be wrong. So Danny said, look, you want to go, and you're going to fight Chimaev. Nate said, look, I don't really want to fight him. There's nothing in it for me other than getting beaten and getting hurt. And Danny said, look, you want to go, you got to do it, or you sign a new contract and we'll give you a different fight. Diaz wants to go, so he's agreed to the fight. And that is pretty much that. It's an awkward one if you ask me, in that you don't see any other not promotion, but any other sport run this way, because although UFC is just a brand of MMA, it is the main brand in the world. When you say MMA, pretty much you always think of UFC straight away. So in that respect, when Dana comes out just talking absolute shite about his employees, I think they are classed as self-employed or whatever, but at the same time he pays them, so they're not really self-employed, am they? But when he can come out and just talk absolute crap about his fighters, slag them off, say, you know, some really ridiculous stuff. You don't see that in other sports and other promotions and companies that are successful. It's a really weird one. I often think though, like this thing with Chimaev and Diaz. Diaz has taken on the best of the best. Masvidal, Conor, he beat Conor, don't forget, in a fight. He had the rematch with Conor. Conor won the second one. Diaz has taken on Leon Edwards. He's now taken on Chimaev. He's taken on countless others as well. And okay, so if Chimaev beats Diaz, there's nothing in that, because on paper I think Gilbert Burns beats Diaz, and Gilbert lost to Chimaev last time out. So what is in it for Chimaev? If he beats Diaz, it's just like a paid assassin. And he's basically going to say that, look, if they want to go in there and finish him, then I will do. I'll just go in there and take him out. And it's kind of like, it's like a wrestling storyline, a WWE storyline. If you watch WWE, then you might be able to relate to this. This would be the equivalent of back in the day when you had Vince McMahon, and he was like head of the, not just the company, but what do they call it? Basically, like when he was the heel, he was running the company, and he was the heel running the country. The company, sorry, my bad. Corporation, was it? Is that what they were called? I think so. It'd be the equivalent of him back then hiring, let's say, an Undertaker, or another big guy, a big guy, you know, your Diesels, etc., Undertakers, maybe like The Rock, whoever, hiring one of the main bad guys at the time to go in there and squash, let's say, a CM Punk when he was a babyface, etc., etc. Just like a smaller guy, and the big boss is hiring his biggest baddie to go in there and just take out the smaller good guy. So Diaz is your babyface, Chimaev is your paid assassin, a heel, and he's being paid to go in there and just put the hurting on Diaz. It just feels really rough to me. Let's have a little look at their like previous opponents. So Chimaev's isn't that long. So a little look. So he's 28 years old. He joined the UFC in 2020. He took out Reese McKee in about less than 2 minutes. Then he fought again not long after that against Gerald Meerschaert when he took him out in less than a round. Then he had a fight with Leon Edwards cancelled. And then he took on Li Jiang. I can never say his name. He's fighting tomorrow night against Tony Ferguson. But Li Jiang. Yeah, anyway, however you say it. And he beat him via submission in the first round as well. They call him the Leech, that's his nickname, Leech, whatever. Then he went up against Gilbert Burns for his longest fight yet, which was 3 rounds, went the distance. And Burns had Chimaev kind of hurt in that fight, but Chimaev, to be fair, won the fight in the end. And now he's taking on Nate Diaz, or Nathan Diaz. Let's have a look at his record and history with the UFC. Goes back a lot longer. We're talking 2007. Okay, so he was on the Ultimate Fighter Series 5. He won that via a second round submission. Then he went up to the main roster, so to speak, beat Junior Asuncao. Then he beat Josh Neer. Oh, actually I'm going the wrong way around here. He beat Alvin Robinson by submission, Kurt Pellegrino by submission, Josh Neer by decision. In 2009, he lost to Clay Guida via decision, lost to Joe Daddy Stevenson via decision, beat Melvin Guillard. He then lost to Gray Maynard via a decision, beat Rory Markham KO, beat Marcus Davies at submission, lost to Rory McDonald via decision, which all of his losses have come via decision. Beat Takomi Gomi via submission, beat Donald Cerrone via decision. And sorry, the Gomi one was a submission. 2012, beat Jim Miller via sub, lost to Benson Henderson via a decision. 2013, lost to Josh Thompson, beat Gray Maynard. 2014, lost via decision to RDA. 2015, beat Michael Johnson. 2016, beat Conor McGregor via sub, lost the rematch via decision to Conor. Was meant to fight Dustin, that was cancelled. 2019, beat Anthony Pettis via decision, lost to Masvidal by KO. Then lost a decision fight to Leon Edwards, and now he's taking on Khamzat. I mean, the man has fought everyone. He's fought the best of the best, and it's a shame we bought Pro against that Dustin Poirier fight. I think that would have been pretty good. My prediction is for this fight, I mean, you look who's been in there against and not been finished. I think that's quite telling. I think we'll end up with a decision victory for Khamzat. I'd say that is if Khamzat can go 5 rounds. It's easy to say on paper, but can he? The only concerning thing here with Nate is that he's come out and said in an interview this week, basically, I don't want to fight him. You know, there's nothing in it for me. I only saw a little clip of it. He just did not sound interested at all, which is rather concerning. Okay, co-main, we have the Leech, or Leech, whose name I could not pronounce, against Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson, the last time we seen him was in slow motion, when he was kicked in the face, uppercut kick, against, what was his name? mistaken, in the last 2 or 3 years, the fight with Justin Gaethje, which would not go down, it was horrible to see. A good fight, but not nice to see somebody go for that punishment. Then there was the fight, like I said, with Chandler, the kick to the head. In the past, he should have had at least 5 fights with Khabib, but he was constantly postponed and cancelled for one reason or another. When he finally looked like Tony was going to get the fight with Khabib, he was doing some TV work or an interview or something, walking backstage, tripped over a wire and done his knee, so the fight was off. It was crazy. But yeah, he's lost to Chandler last time out. Before that, he lost to Beneil Dariush. Before that, he lost to Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje. His last win was 2019 against Donald Cerrone. He beat Anthony Pettis before that. Kevin Lee before that. Beat RDA. Lando Venata. I mean, the bloke is a top fighter back in his day. Beat Edson Barboza around Epson. He's a top fighter, Tony Ferguson, but I just think he's gone now. And this is actually going up to welterweight from lightweight against a big puncher in the Leech. The Leech won his last fight against Muslim Salikov, sorry. Before that, he lost his fight to Khamzat, where he'd beaten Ponzinibbio in the previous fight. Lost to Neil Magny, but he's just a good fighter. I was very impressed in his last fight against Salikov. Really impressed with the Leech. I think he's going to stop Tony, unfortunately. I really do think he's going to finish him in this fight. Other than that, on this card we have... who's the other fight I was interested in? Oh, there we go. Kevin Holland against Daniel Rodriguez. Yeah, Kevin Holland. Decent fighter. Had a couple of bad losses, but he's gone the distance with some of the best. He's gone the distance with Marvin Vittori, Derek. Where was we at? I had to go and do something. I think something about Tony Ferguson. No, I wasn't. Wasn't about the third fight that I was interested in. What was the third fight? Oh, Kevin Holland. Yes, Holland went the distance with Vittori, Derek Brunson. He won his last fight. So look, Lulu. Here we go. Kevin Holland beat Tim Means last time. Before that, he beat Alex Oliveira. Lost to Vittori, lost to Brunson, both via decision. Which don't look that bad when you consider Whittaker just went the distance with Vittori. He beat Jacare Souza. I think he broke his arm, did he? Might be wrong on that. Beat Charles Ontiveros and beat Darren Stewart. So yeah, he's a pretty decent fighter, Kevin Holland. He's up against D-Rod or Daniel Rodriguez, who hasn't fought in a little while, but last time out he beat Kevin Lee via a decision, beat Preston Parsons, beat Mike Perry via decision, lost to Nicholas Dalby, and beat Dwight Grant. Other than this fight, we have the Johnny Walker against Johan Guteleba. It was an odd one with Johnny Walker, so he's Brazilian, and he had a fight of bloody hell, maybe 2.5 years ago. He won the fight. I can't remember who it was against. I think he won via knockout, and he was in the octagon, and as a way of celebration, I think he knocked his opponent out, but he had like a bit of anger and issues with his opponent, so he was mocking him, because when he knocked his opponent out, his opponent fell face first, I think, to the canvas. In mocking celebration, what's his name? Johnny Walker face planted the canvas as if to say, look what I've just done to him, and dislocated his shoulder in the process. And he was out for like a year, I think, or 9 months, give or take, something like that. So yeah, he's a funny bloke, good fighter. A couple of boring fights recently. Yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, a good fight, a few good fights on the card, and we'll just see how the event goes. Sorry, I've got Sky's news on in the background. I was just trying to see what they're saying about the sports, etc. To wait and see. Anyway, guys, take it easy. I'll see you again very soon. Thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you again. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.